Grace Tame has been in the public eye, of course, as a former Australian of the Year and a leading figure in the fight for survivors of child sexual abuse.
Now she's preparing to travel the country to share her experiences and explain how laughter and ultramarathon running have helped her navigate an often tricky path. Grace joins us now in the studio. Hello.
Good morning, Bridget. Michael, how are you?
Good morning. I wouldn't put laughter and ultramarathon running together in any sentence.
No, crying and ultramarathon running.
Yeah, certainly. Sometimes laughing and crying at the same time.
Yeah. At what point of the ultramarathon are you crying and what point are you laughing? At the end are you laughing and crying in the middle, or how does it work?
Well, it really depends.
Yeah.
It depends on if you want to run an ultramarathon or if you want to go to war with yourself and find out what you're made of.
How did you discover it? Was it something you've done for a long time? And what does it give you?
Oh, well, I really liked running as a little kid. I was naturally pretty good at it. I'm petite and full of beans, inexhaustible. But I lost interest in it, along with a lot of other child sexual abuse survivors. When you go through something as traumatic as that, you sort of want to distance yourself from all of the things that you love to do, and you kind of want to be a different person. But I rediscovered running in my mid-20s, and I'm a bit of a spiritual extremist, if you will, and always like to go to the nth degree and challenge myself. And I found it's a really good way to regulate emotions as well as an autistic person. And I really just love to get out in nature too and share the experiences of life with other people who like to run too.
Communing with it. So listen, you'll talk about this, Grace, along with other ways how your load has been lightened in these shows coming up at the end of the month. So tell us what audiences can expect when they go and see you.
Oh, well, it's going to be unpredictable, I think. But yeah, certainly reflecting on the really bizarre, jarring experience of being thrust out of obscurity and into the spotlight to discuss a really fraught subject matter. It's not like I had a run-up, like a lot of people do who enter the public eye, and being honest about what that was like, because, as I often say, many opposing things can be true at once. On the one hand, I'm really grateful for all of the opportunities that have been given to the community of child sexual abuse survivors by spotlighting child sexual abuse and witnessing this dismantling of shame for the community. But on the other hand, it's been really difficult for not just myself, but my family and my other loved ones, because before I was named Australian of the Year, we were already dealing with a lot of networked abuse that often comes as a result of poking the bear of the child sexual abuse offender underbelly, and that was amplified by putting a spotlight on it. We got proliferated with awful messages. There was surveillance, stalking, harassment, and that continues to this day. And so really being honest with people about that, and sharing what it's been like to be under media scrutiny, and but also sharing some of the successes of the reforms that we've helped to drive and what's next. Yeah,
well, I want to just pause and just acknowledge what you've been through, because it's just completely unacceptable that you've had to go through that, given all the wonderful positive work that you've done for so many people in this country and globally. But if we can focus on the positives, this ride, I guess it's just been ups and downs, but what have been the moments where you've gone, okay, yes, I did this for the right reason, and I'm connecting with people who really have so much gratitude towards you for what you've done, particularly around that issue of shame and the stigma?
Oh, well, there are so many, and I'm really struck by the small moments, the ones that you can't really measure with numbers and statistics. One of the things that I feel the most privileged to be able to do is get to travel all around Australia and visit parts that I probably wouldn't go to otherwise. For example, I was in Gunnedah last year, and I arrived at my hotel, and I walked into reception, and the man manning the front desk saw me. He would have been in his probably mid-40s, and he saw me and he just burst into tears. And there's an unspoken sort of understanding between survivors of child sexual abuse, and I just asked him if we could have a hug, and we did, and it was really beautiful. And those experiences I get to have all of the time, and it's just amazing, because I know what that shame feels like as somebody who lived for many years in isolation, which is an experience that underpins that, you know, prolonged child sexual abuse, and that's happening all over the country. And it's not just myself that is helping to drive that change. Everyone's picking up the mantle, and we're seeing advocates pick up that and pass it along, and it's very beautiful.
Yeah, how does it make you feel? You must be chuffed, if that's the right word.
Just to be a witness of it, it makes me, very proud, and it makes me want to cry.
I guess because so much of the advocacy has been online, right? I know you've travelled around, but like there's such a growing online community. So when you step off and you see people face to face, like you're going to do in this national tour, it's the faces of people. It's, you know, connecting with people right in front of you. That must be quite powerful.
Yeah, it is. It's overwhelming.
Yeah,
in the best way possible.
Yeah.
No, just let's finish where we started. I'm reading you've signed up to the Noosa Ultra Trail.
Yes.
I feel exhausted. No, I'm not. I feel exhausted just looking at it. It's a biggie.
Yeah, well, there's a few different events at the Noosa Ultra Trail. There's a 25K, a 30K, 50K, an 80K and 100K.
Which one are you doing?
I'm not sure yet, because I think I'll do the Great Ocean Road Ultra again.
Yes,
so
which you won last year, right?
This year. This year I won that one
right.
in May. That's 60Ks. That's a pretty brutal race. It was brutal this year because of the weather.
Yeah.
So 60Ks, which is enough.
Yeah.
But you add in a headwind the entire way and sideways rain.
Yep.
You know, it's a bit of a cocktail to make it interesting.
How many hours is 60K?
Well, it depends on how fast you want to
How
run
many hours do you do it? How many
Very
hours
fast.
is the Grace Tame 60K?
Well, I did it in 4 hours and 46 minutes.
Wow.
Wow.
Or
that's
43
amazing.
minutes, yeah.
Are there any in the world that you've got your eye on that you'd love to
Actually, next year, so my cousin Millie is working at the Australian Embassy in Zimbabwe at the moment, and she's looking at doing the Kilimanjaro Marathon in April next year, and I think I might go over and join her. So that'll affect which race I choose to do in Noosa. I think I might want to do one of the shorter ones. But for me, it takes me about 25Ks to warm up. By 25Ks, I've only just got through my groceries list. And then I'm like, all right, okay, I'm ready to go.
Most of us have warmed up at 250 metres, but not Grace Tame. Hey, it's been so great having you in the studio. Good luck for the tour.
Good luck for the
Thanks,
tour.
Grace.
Thanks for having me. Yeah. Thank you.
Tony Armstrong called, by the way. He wants his jumper back.
That's Mike.
He's got an identical one. Good to see you, Grace.
Yeah.
Thanks, Michael.
Well, strong conversation to be had at Grace's national tour, but we do acknowledge this story may have raised some issues for some people watching, and if you need it, you can get help by calling 1-800-RESPECT, which is 1-800-737-732.